Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, salam. Welcome to MACFEST 2025. Welcome from the UK, from France, from Albania, and we'll find out where from. We're absolutely international today. This is one of our last events and one of the most exciting events. It's an event fashion with Rabia Z, the award-winning fashion designer. And our host for today is Lulieta Halimi, aka Lulu. It's one of our absolutely fantastic best hosts that we have. She's from Albania. She's got wide experience in the media, from the Islam channel and from MACFEST. I'm sure some of you can recognize her. So please, if I could just ask you, say hello in the chat. Tell us where you're watching us from. If you have any thoughts or questions, put them please in the chat or in the Q&A portal. So over to you, Lulu.
Alaikum salam, and thank you so much for the great introduction, Katazina. As always, it's a pleasure being part of MACFEST. I'm really, really happy for the amazing year that we had with all the events. MACFEST, as always, is a success in terms of tradition, culture, religious themes that we have covered. But I'm also a little bit sad because we finished the season. But anyway, I'm sure that MACFEST 2026 will be a success as well, and I can't wait what we've got in store for next year, inshallah. I would love to say hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to all our viewers from all around the world. I can see from the chat that lots of them, someone is from Singapore, someone is from Malaysia, someone from America, and I'm very, very happy that you guys are joining us today. Personally, I am based in UK, London, but currently I'm in Albania, and I can say it's extremely hot. And also, the guest that we have today is joining us from a very extremely hot place, which is Dubai, but I will let her talk more about that. Before I say hello to her, I want to introduce her shortly. There is so much to talk about this personality that we have today. She's beautiful, she's smart, she's talented, she's famous. She has so much in store to tell us about, and I'm very, very excited that I have the opportunity to talk to her about something that I'm very passionate about, that it's fashion. Especially, let me say, modest fashion is even better, right? Okay, it's my great honor to introduce to all of you an amazing woman in the global modest fashion industry. She is Rabia Z Zargarpur, known as the First Lady of Modest Fashion. She is an award-winning designer and businesswoman who changed modest fashion around the world. Her creative and eco-friendly designs have been shown in places like New York, Miami, London, South Africa, Pakistan, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Milan, Istanbul, also Dubai, where she is based now. And also her brand, Rabia Z, is sold in more than 85 countries. Rabia is frequently covered by prestigious international press, TV, award-winning documentaries like Gulf Film Festival 2008, Cannes Films Festival, and she is one of the top 500 leaders making up the Islamic economy on the Islamica 500 list in all 4 editions. So everyone who is passionate about fashion, it's your chance to ask Rabia today questions and learn more how the modest fashion world works. Shortly, I will just add something and then I will welcome her. She also supports women's rights, fair business, and sustainability. And because of her skills, she advises respected groups like the Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center and appears in reports about the global Islamic economy. She has an MBA with honors, of course, in leadership, innovation, and consulting. Her mix of creativity, business skills, and work for positive change makes her a true leader in fashion world. Is my pleasure to welcome Rabia. Rabia, assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for joining us today. Rabia, I hope you are here.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon from hot Dubai in the middle of downtown, but it's lovely and it's so nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm so grateful and so humbled by your kind introduction, Lulu. Thank you so much, and thank you, Kaisra, and everyone, the MACFEST team. It's truly an honor. I'm privileged to be a part of it this year, and hopefully we can continue and do more in the following years, inshallah. Thank you.
Inshallah. It's our pleasure, Rabia, to have you here. Thank you so much. And before I start asking you question, I will ask everyone who is joining us today, please, you can write down all your questions and answers in the chat, and then inshallah, me and Rabia, we will pick them and we will answer them one by one. You mentioned, Rabia, that you are also fasting today. May Allah accept it from you and from whoever is fasting the day of Ashura today. And you look gorgeous, not dehydrated at all. So,
Alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khair, wa yakum inshallah for everyone, ya Rab, ya Rab.
amazing. Okay, Rabia, I'm sure everyone, including me, wants to know, how did you start the modest fashion and how did you bring it into the big runways?
Wow, yeah. It's been quite a journey to say the least. Makes me feel a bit old now that I want to put a number around how long it's been. But alhamdulillah, really alhamdulillah. So I think that for me, the way it started was it started as a personal journey. It started as a personal struggle. And my story goes way back because my actual training is in fashion in both business and design. So I studied fashion in New York City actually. I used to work, I used to intern there, and I used to work for Valentino and all that jazz in my early teens, late teens. And then from there, life took a turn, and though I'm born and raised here in Dubai, I was living in the US at the time, and alhamdulillah, I had a spiritual awakening, or I should say reawakening, and I found my deen. I felt like I refound my deen. And this all happened in America. See, in Dubai, we're very, very comfortable. Obviously, it's alhamdulillah, very safe and beautiful place to live. No one is, you're not judged. You can dress however you want. You can go out in a full black abaya. No one obviously says anything. You can wear open clothes. It's like very secular and whatnot. But I was, and my family never ever forced me or pushed me to cover. So I was not wearing hijab when I was in Dubai. So my hijab journey started in America, and I think that's how it was from my personal hijab journey, which was unfortunately timing-wise couldn't be any worse, but Allah had clearly a plan for that. It happened months before 9/11, and sadly, my Dubai abayas were not working in California anymore. I had moved to California then, and wearing full black going out to the streets, it was just not possible. I'm laughing now, but it was honestly a very, very difficult time. I mean, the amount of hate crime and, unpleasant experiences I endured, and my sisters around me, my family, my friends endured. It's certainly not anything to laugh about. Subhanallah, my parents here were sort of on my case to say this is not the time to wear hijab, take it off, take it on another time. And so
your future is bright without it.
you've heard it all,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I have the same experience, so I completely understand, and I'm sure lots of people who are joined, they have gone through the same journey, kind of. This is what makes us passionate as well about what we are doing.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. It's subhanallah, after experiencing all that, all the difficulty and the hardship and all the negative light that was on Islam at the time, I was very stubborn, and stubbornly I said, I don't want to remove my hijab. Why should I have to remove it for the comfort of others, And I understood that we lived in a shared space, and of course, I was mindful of that. But luckily for me, my mom was here in Dubai, had her own sort of small production unit and a tailoring house. So what I started to do is I said, I have a creative background. Rather than removing my hijab, I have this resource here to my advantage. But what about let me create some things that are hopefully, neutral looking at that time of the darkness that was around us, just going out with hijab, So I came up with little like basic stuff at the time, sort of things that are very common now, like turbans that were ready-made turbans. So I started to create the ready-made turbans. I started creating like hats, sort of like beanie style hats that could cover enough but not look visibly hijab at the time. Little things like that, and I'm talking 2001, right? So even in the fashion scene then, there were no things like you could not find long shirts, t-shirts, or shirts that covered your hips or that were long sleeves. And imagine in California, with the California weather, you barely found anything that was long sleeves. So it was very difficult for me, especially having the fashion background. Here I was so torn. Here I was, found the beauty of Islam and got into spiritual Islam. And then I have, my dunya side, which is, okay, I still loved fashion and I was trained in that, and I had all this creativity, but the shock of, going out to the mall was very depressing at the time because I couldn't find anything to wear. And so that's sort of how it started. To bring it all in, I decided that, okay, let me just help myself. And then it started from helping myself to people reaching out to me that this is great. Because what started to happen, I think the best part of exploring with this concept that didn't exist at the time was that I realized that fashion has such a universal language, because from the hate, suddenly it was a space of dialogue. Like when I'd go out and really put my outfit together, matching my breathable scarves and the colorful shirts and things that I made, really like put effort into styling it and designing it. And I started to see that people wanted to conversate about it. Like they were interested, like, what do you call this? And, this is so colorful, and what is it called? And this is so pretty and whatnot. So it became like a sort of a neutral conversation, which was really nice. So I realized then that, fashion has a universal language and it has the power if it's done right. So as they say, the rest is history. I started from Allah yarham, my grandfather's garage, very cliche story. I literally did. I started the first sort of e-commerce, and those days, e-commerce was not easy like today.
Yes.
Very challenging. I had a beautiful friend that had helped me. I had learned some from her as well. And then I just took it on and started Rabia Z. But like you said, the community and others who have similar stories is what was the beautiful thing on the website. Is it the blog that we had, people just started to write about their personal struggles, their very, very personal struggles, things that I never thought about because I hadn't faced those in the past, right? So like you said, like, okay, the families objected, there's friends that you lost, there's maybe even
career opportunities, maybe.
Biggest one was actually, one of the biggest ones was career. Everyone would write and complain about that we can't get hired, or so like I said, there was personal, very deep ones about self-esteem and confidence, and then there was all those facts of I can't get hired because of my hijab. So really in an essence, I felt that it was my calling, as I started to see more and more people around me asking, what are you wearing? Can you make us this? Can you also get us this? Can you, So it's like started small like that. Then I took it online and it just, boomed from there. And when I say boomed, I mean it. It's not necessarily in my success is not, I don't see it as a monetary thing. It was really, being able to make one aspect of my sister's lives easier, which was, just your basic everyday dressing, which we take for granted, living in, like us living here, we take it for granted. I don't know how it is in Albania. I know in UK it's the same. I mean, alhamdulillah, we've come a long way, but it's not easy, and it makes me very sad that after all these years and after making the mark and after creating the industry, coining the term modest fashion, winning multiple awards, breaking stereotypes into different runways, it still makes me sad to see the whole. I don't like to talk politics, but the whole scene right now, that it's still, unfortunately, there's still so much Islamophobia, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely. When we talk about modest fashion, Islamophobia is absolutely something that we also include, because there is is the truth. It's still there. I know that now within the time, I would say it's a bit faded. It's not the same as before, but still it exists. But it's okay. We still are,
we'll
maybe that
persevere,
makes
and
us, maybe that makes us even more passionate about what we do, and that maybe it's like a motivation for some of us to keep going and show the world that Islam is beautiful, and you can be pretty, you can be beautiful, you can dress nice clothes also in hijab, so you can please Allah and also do these things. So there is no, Allah loves beauty, and of course, if we please Allah, there is beauty in that as well. I remember I had a Turkish teacher when I was like a teenager, and she was dressing this because I've studied Turkish college, and she was wearing this very nice designs and colors, and always when she was math teacher, imagine. So she was kind of motivation. So I was always telling my friends, one day if I ever put the hijab, because I also covered when I was like 19, I want to dress like her. So how powerful is being part of fashion as well? Because look how we can motivate other people to that one day want to also follow our footsteps, or want to please Allah at the same time and look good, basically. Rabia, I want to know how did you combine also, of course, you touched some points through your journey to hijab, and obviously you started, as you mentioned, in the garage of your grandfather. How did you combine the idea of eco-friendly and also modest fashion?
Interestingly enough, for me, from the beginning, like when I first started wearing hijab, what was available at the time in America, or what we would order, online from the little souk type websites, everything was polyester. Everything was polyester, and immediately, like for me, it was, having studied fashion, for me, I was never a fan of polyester to begin with, but to see and experience something like that fabric unbreathable on top of my head was like, I was like, no, this is not possible. And then I thought, everyone's doing that too. And I'm thinking, wow, as it is, it's hard to cover, right? It's hard to dress, find modest pieces and dress modestly. And then the options we have to cover our head is this non-breathable polyester fabric. How is that even possible? So I, from the onset, started to source and find a breathable, comfortable cotton that, cotton and cotton blends is what then I introduced and started putting under our brand and under our website. And really, like I said, the main thing is because I thought about how can women, like I said, it's hard enough to cover, and then to have, your scalp suffer in the heat with wearing unbreathable fabrics like that. So that was a big no-no for me, and I wanted to make sure that, that same goes with people that wear our brand and people that follow us and are looking for good options. Breathability and natural fibers are the thing I started from the onset, at least with the hijab first. So it all happened in stages. It didn't, back in the days, it was almost impossible for a young brand to find affordable, sustainable fabrics. It was impossible. Like, you know, you only had like the big legends like Eileen Fisher and others, like more seasoned brands that, but very small, sort of, they were small niches too. So it was not easy to find that. So I started our thing. We started with introducing breathability and natural fibers and natural fabrics. So that's how we started. So, you know, when we say eco-friendly, back in that time, it didn't exist really much, you know. So then over time, as we as we grew and we were able to have sort of more access to fabrics that are still within price points, it was very difficult in the beginning, very, very difficult, because it had to, you know, order from suppliers and in huge quantities. And for any young label would know, any young brands would know that that's really difficult to do. But alhamdulillah, over time, thank God that the industry, because fashion unfortunately is one of the largest, most pollutant industries in the world, and alhamdulillah, because, you know, as it became a global thing, that's why the terrible fast fashion brands are the ones that then started to sort of they had to pull themselves together. And I think it helped us, because they, being the giants, and I'm talking about, you know, like H&M and Zara and the likes,
yeah,
since they then had a mandate to finally go sustainable, because of them, because their price points are, you know, something more affordable for the rest. So it made it easier for younger brands to get in. And I have a story with that, as people still think it's difficult, so people are scared to get in. I know a lot of Muslims that intend that, because they want that. I mean, it's part of Islam, honestly. It's part of our deen. We should all be focusing more on sustainable fashion, and it is, you know, ethical fashion. All of this is part of our it should be embedded into modest fashion, honestly. But it's understandable, because it is a numbers game. It is about pricing. It is about the availability. It is all that. So I had a major e-tailer from Turkey, which is Modanisa. They used to be, they were the largest when it came to modest fashion, fast fashion. And so they, for the longest time, wanted to do a collaboration with me. So we had, as a company, sold a hijab license to them. So it was so funny when we started the hijab license with them. They told me, it's not, you know, cotton jersey is not gonna sell. Turkey, they love their polyester square hijab. It's either the polyester square hijab or it's the silk square hijab.
yeah.
I said, no worries. I've heard this in so many other countries that I've been to, that I introduced. By the way, we are the inventors, alhamdulillah, of the jersey hijab globally.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
I love
We
jersey.
started it. We
Oh,
started
wow.
it. The museums did give us the acknowledgement of being the creators. I didn't invent the fabric, but how I invented it is, like, you know, when I went to fashion school, I used to love Donna Karan, and Donna Karan, she did some amazing different things at the time with the jersey fabric. So that was always inspiring to me. And it was very hard you couldn't find jersey hijab. So, but jersey fabric was there. So putting it into a hijab, creating a breathable hijab, not the polyester one, those fitted two-piece, those are pure polyester actually, or with a tiny touch of cotton in it. So not those, but the actual Shayla hijab as a wrap in Jersey was, alhamdulillah, we created it, we sort of invented it, but it's not our fabric. Over time, yes, we did start to source our own, of course, fabrics. So anyway, Modanisa said, no, it's not going to happen, you know, it's going to take time. The Turkish women are very particular. And I said, no worries, you know, let's do this. So there's two challenges I took. Once, I took that on early in 2010. I said, no, let's, you know, allow me and we'll see. So it took literally a couple of months. Within a couple of months, it became the hottest selling thing. So much so that apparently their competitors and everyone else around them, everyone started to create jersey hijabs and selling them, you know, under their own
Wow.
brands.
Yeah.
And I knew, because for me, I always say this, and it really genuinely is that before wearing hijab, I loved t-shirts. I still love t-shirts. I'm a fan of athleisure. I missed that feeling of, you know, you throwing on a t-shirt and getting out, right?
Yeah.
I wanted that feeling for the head. I wanted that feeling in the head. So and that's what inspired me to create the jersey hijab, alhamdulillah. And then the other thing for the for sustainability, anyone out there who's thinking it's not possible, like I said today, it is possible. So same thing, the same company, they're, as I said, the largest when it comes to e-commerce at the time. So they said, let's do a collab. And I didn't want to collab because our prices are so different. They're fast fashion and we're affordable fashion. So anyway, one year, it was 2019, we said, okay, fine. I will do this collab, because they said, look, H&M does with all the big designers, you can do too. So we said, you know, you're right, absolutely. Even though we almost did have a deal with H&M too, by the way. I have crazy stories with Adidas, with H&M. Too early in the time, because they were not ready for a Muslim, like a visibly Muslim brand with a designer, creative director in hijab to be doing stuff for them at the time. That's how early it was. The conversations are different today. Look, we have all these brands creating hijabs and abayas now, which is great, right? So, so with the collaboration, the fast fashion collaboration, I went in myself to Istanbul, and I told the team that I will only do this collaboration if it's sustainable. They said it's not possible. No, first of all, the price point, no one's going to buy. Second of all, you will not even find the right fabrics to create a sustainable line. So I took on the challenge and I said, I will do it myself. So I let the team be. I took my translator and I went in myself. I went into factories to make sure, first of all, that they're ethically sourced and they're all ethically, you know, well paid. The rights are there. Like, I went myself, interviewed, first of all. So we've always been an ethical brand. This is stuff I do all the time. So that aspect was covered and is there. So I sourced the right companies, the right factories to work with, and then came the fabric. Of course it was a challenge, but alhamdulillah, where there's a will, there's a way. You know, understanding the pricing, understanding quality, understanding what works. I went in and I said, this is what I'm looking for. Who can supply it for not as large quantities? We are obviously going to be smaller quantities. So we did it. I mean, it wasn't 100% sustainable. And it was a sold out collection. It was reordered over and over. It actually sold for a few years. Imagine one collection of one season to be reordered and sold multiple times over the years. Alhamdulillah. Because it was timeless and it was breathable and it was sustainable. So we were not able to do 100%, but we were able to achieve 75% sustainability. So I say this story every time is for everyone to know that it is possible, because I know early in my career, I could see that it was not possible. It was too expensive for us to be able to source sustainable fabrics. But you can start small. Like, ethical has to be a must. I really advise all my mentees that I mentor, all my clients that I consult, that want to start a brand, if they haven't started, if they want to start, this is what I always advise them. And alhamdulillah, like I said, where there's a will, there's a way. You have to want it. And it's possible.
Yeah, you have to be basically passionate about it, right? All the journeys in life.
In my own hands, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
take the risk.
Yes.
Yeah. Rabia, you mentioned, and I know that you have also helped to launch multiple labels and brands. So I really want to know a little bit more about your mentorship programs, and also how has mentoring young designers changed the way how you lead now? Because obviously you told us the story many years ago, how you started, and then alhamdulillah, you went through all of these difficulties, and I know that there are plenty of other stories that are brilliant to know as well, and are the biggest motivation probably that you have in your life. But now you are in another position. So how did all of this process as well change you, and the way how you do your own leadership now?
Of course, you know, starting something, it's great to be acknowledged as a pioneer, but it's as nice as it sounds, it's not the best thing in the world. Honestly. It's not, because the challenges are so much. Perhaps we can show some slides, actually, the collection I was talking about. I
Yeah,
put in the slides at the end.
Steve will help us, yeah, do that, inshallah. While
The,
you are talking, he can go through the
perfect.
slides.
Perfect. So as I was saying, that it was very difficult because I didn't have any guidelines. I didn't have any benchmarks. So I had to learn through trial and error, and constant trial, constant error, and until I learned what I learned. And modest fashion being something so new at the time, the government here is the one that, with the Dubai Islamic Economic Development Center, is the one that coined the term for the industry to be called modest fashion, because they were debating, should it be Islamic fashion, should it, with the reports that come out with the State of the Global Islamic Economy report with Dinar Standard. So it was a roundtable discussion, and they asked me to come, and they consulted, and they asked me, I told them why it should be called modest fashion versus Islamic fashion, because of the inclusivity, first of all. So you see, it's like step by step creating these things that didn't exist. But like I said, it's not because I'm the best at it or I'm the greatest. No, it's because I've fallen so many times, and I've had to pull myself together and learn and teach my teams, and it's a constant learning. And honestly, even today, the landscape has changed so much, even though my entrepreneurial side is definitely, my passion is more on the entrepreneurial side, and the creativity is something, alhamdulillah, perhaps of course I enjoy, and maybe I'm blessed with. But
Yeah.
the business side, I tell all my mentees and clients, fashion is a very serious business. You have to stop, if you want to get into it, stop treating it like a hobby. Take it serious, because it is like the top 4 largest money earners in the world too, in terms of industry. So it wasn't easy. I didn't have that many mentors along the way. I had just a couple from mainstream industry that helped me learn, understand the business and all those aspects. But every time I, had a success or a failure, or every time I wanted to do something or create something new, and I would see where the struggles were, I would think of, wow, if me with all the experience, and I had, investors, and I had funding, and I had everything, alhamdulillah, I've had a full journey with the brands, and we have multiple brands. But with Rabia Z, I felt that it used to make me think of everyone else around me, like in the Young Fashion Week that we have, the Modest Fashion Weeks, or the on the platform like Modernisa, there's hundreds of labels and brands. If you go to the last page, I'll show you the collection that was the one I was talking about, the collaboration. So I used to think about everyone. I used to think, how are they managing? I know it's so difficult. And every time we were at similar events, I would always hear complaints and complaints about.
Literally, this is what I was thinking now. How do you guys do it? How do you manage all of it?
This is the sustainable collection, by the way. So this is a fast fashion. This is not our Preta Couture and our main line. This is the fast fashion affordable line that we created for Modernisa. Very clean, all breathable, all sustainable, very timeless, and yeah. So, sorry, you were saying?
So I was saying, how difficult and how do you guys manage all of it from A to Z through all the fashion week and all the, it's quite difficult.
Yes, it is. It is. But again, having trained in mainstream fashion, for me, it was very familiar grounds. We didn't have that in the modest fashion space, but then through Modernisa, they started the modest fashion fashion week. They started, which today now is done through Think Fashion, and it's in its 10th year now, mashallah. So but for me, I'm in it for 25 years, right? So having already experienced things in mainstream, for me, it was understandable. And it was very strange, because when people would, like young models would come and tell me, we'd love to model for you, or can you, take us. At the time there were no hijabi models and stuff. And early on, I would actually not encourage them. I would discourage them because I knew what the mainstream fashion scene is like, and it's not for the faint of heart. You have to be very, very stubborn, very strong in your deen to go in and be able to sort of do what you do in the mainstream fashion, obviously, because the scene is not as kosher or Islamic, if for lack of better words, right? So but anyway, bringing it all back to how we do it. So it was that time, that year we had one of our investments hadn't worked out, and so we were a little bit in the process of trying to get the brand back. So there's a lot of challenges. That year I decided, whilst all the legal stuff was going on, that I'm going to put my focus into my passion, which is to build other brands, which I've always wanted to. And I had always mentored, I had always consulted, but I said, no, I want some, really purpose-driven brands to come out of this mentorship. And I'm going to, every struggle that I went through, including the legal at the end in terms of, IPs, owning the rights of your names and all the legalities and things that, sometimes young brands at the time wouldn't know, right? Even I didn't know early in my career. So I said, I'm going to package it all and put it into this mentorship program. So we created this mentorship program. We created my academy called the Modest Fashion Academy. I'm very passionate about, and we're very, blessed to have helped young designers and young labels and sometimes just moms that come onto my program, and they're like, we want to do this. So how can we do it? And I encourage them, do it professionally. Don't do it as a hobby. And so we were able to, alhamdulillah, launch and help multiple brands launch. And again, it's a customized program, first of all, because everyone's journey is different. Like your journey could be different than someone who's already maybe studied fashion, or someone who's never, done anything in fashion, but maybe they have a business side or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's very customized to your own experience and background, and I love it. I love I'm very open. We share all of our resources. Like I had the hardest time during my career to find good sources, to find good vendors, to find good clients. In the mentorship program, I said, whatever we've collected over the experience that we've had, I'm going to share all my resources, because I knew it was one of the hardest things for me was to find the right. So alhamdulillah, that's a little bit about the Rabia Z mentorship program.
I know you mentioned, obviously, you have been part of many TV interviews and documentaries and festivals, but I would really like to know which project or maybe partnership makes you the most proud, and why? Maybe you have two, but I would like to know.
In terms of partnership
or project that you've worked on, that when you sit and think about it, makes you very proud, and it's something that you really, it like has a special place in your heart.
I mean, honestly, I'm blessed. I have a lot of beautiful stories, and I haven't even shared half of them, and haven't had the right platform to just share everything. It's a lot.
We need to have a podcast together, Rabia.
Yes,
so
I've
we
been
can
told
share
too many
everything.
times. Yes,
like with series. So
yes, or a book, which it was in the works, and then I've stopped it. But also a book about everything. It's been quite a journey. I have a lot of stories, honestly, but in terms of what makes me most proud, I think not just the personal brand stories and the ups and downs of it, but I think for me it is what I've been able to do in the mentorship program for people that have come. Like I'll tell you one story is a mom of mashallah 6 who had a nursing baby in her arm and wanted to do this from her home, and I'm talking in the Middle East, where she wasn't even going out to source things, And alhamdulillah, we were not only able to create a brand for her professionally with everything you could think of, from the branding perspective to what the brand DNA should be, which is something I emphasize a lot, that I see that we lack in our industry, is that professionalism, where it's a brand that has a full story, and it has a very strong DNA, as I call it. So for her, we were able to create all that while she was at home with her children and the nursing baby. And mashallah, created the samples in a small unit in Turkey, and launched it into a fashion show as well. So all that happened in a span of, within, I would say, less than 6 months, mashallah. So alhamdulillah, I have huge stories, but the one that I feel most proud is definitely in the mentorship program. There's so many beautiful ones like that in the mentorship program. A lot of wonderful sisters like that. But in terms of the mainstream, if you were to say, or the businesses, there's a lot. But I think, this is what makes me most prouder, when I have sisters and I have stories, and we have emails, and we have, messages that come through that, alhamdulillah, because of you, we started wearing hijab. Because of you, we were able to, proudly, go to work, head high, and, feel good, we feel confident again. And then in one of the documentaries, there was a sister's story that we followed, and she had removed her hijab, and after the during the filming of the documentary, and it was a very emotional moment, and she put it back on, and she said, I'm gonna go to my interview like this, and alhamdulillah, she got the job too. So there's a lot of those moments are more special than if I were to tell you my huge, I won this award, and I won this feature in the mainstream, which we have a lot, alhamdulillah.
Rabia she's being very humbled because she is award winner of many awards. Allahumma barik. But inshallah, for everyone who doesn't know her, if you search for her and her awards, you will see a lot. And inshallah, we will see Rabia even more in the market. Rabia, I know that it's very hard to deal with creativity. Me as a producer and a presenter, sometimes I try to find some ideas or things that would motivate me, or I'm like, oh, I need to be creative nonstop, so I'm not boring. And with social media nowadays, and the life is very fast, where do you find the motivation? Where do you find that creativity? Where do you find that sparkling within you, also on your mentoring programs? Because I know that's quite difficult as well.
Yes, it's harder, obviously, if you don't have a vision and you don't know why you're doing it. It will always be difficult. You will always, an excuse will come, something else will come in the way, and you will always find a way to brush it off. So I think what you need to focus on is why you're doing it. If your why, as they say, if your why is strong enough, then you will find a way to do it. And in terms of, now digitally, through social media, through, like my favorite is I go on Pinterest, and I'm just, for me, art is very inspiring. I look at a lot of art, I look at a lot of architecture. But for me, the fluidity, like my inspiration comes more from Japanese aesthetics. When I was in fashion school, was not even when I was in fashion school, it was much later when I started my brand Rabia Z. The aesthetic that inspired me more is the Japanese, because I find it modest and beautiful, and I love the draping. And by the way, draping is another thing that we were the first to introduce into the modest industry. At the time, like, everything was clean cut, but draping, to find a new way, an innovative way to, and a technical draping, to cover your body but still keep it, So I would say, be clear about your vision. If you know what you're doing, why are you doing it? And it's okay time to time that you lose motivation. It's a human nature, nothing wrong with that, as long as you know why you're doing it. But sometimes, I'll be honest, I've had mentees where we've had to shift them that they've, like, through the journey, through the program or the mentorship, or even over the years, they shifted, some of them shifted from doing fashion collections to doing something else like PR or doing
Yeah,
production, or I don't know, doing, so and there's nothing wrong with that. I
yeah.
always, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So sometimes take a little bit of time out and, explore internally a little bit, go into an inward journey and see, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I, what is this for? And maybe it's time to shift gears and to try something else. But yeah, that's
We
what I
need
do.
to take we need to take the risk, right? Sometimes, because you never know, you can see that you are part of another industry, you are part of another world, or you can mix things together, you can find yourself in something else.
You can, exactly.
Yeah.
And trust your instinct, trust your gut. I feel women have very strong intuition, and I really believe you should praise the Khara on everything and trust your gut instinct as well. That's
What
what
about yourself, Rabia? When you choose your own outfits, what guides you the most? Is it more like fashion trends, culture, personal style? Do you also, for example, when you travel, oh, okay, I'm in Malaysia, I'm going to wear this thing. How do you combine these things? Because you're a designer, we need to learn from you. And also, I want to know what kind of colors are trendy this summer. Tell us.
Oh, gosh. So when it comes to trends, you're talking to the wrong person, because I'm all about sustainability and timelessness and classics. So, so I don't actually follow trends. We create trends, but we don't follow trends. So, but no, time to time it's fun, of course, if there's a little something. There's no harm in that. But I don't. I keep it to. For me, it's more feeling, and for me, it's more my comfort. Like, I'd be in the mood to, do more sort of, like, we started colored abayas when there was no colored abayas in the region. Like I said, we have so many first stories. If I tell you, it's crazy. But being, too early, as I said, is still not that good. So colored abayas. Like, for me recently, I'm just more a lot into the whites and off-whites and beiges, but it's summer, so for me it's the feeling, really. Like, I feel like, oh, I'm in my comfort zone. I want to, if I'm traveling, I'm a lot into my athleisure. I like to be comfortable. I like to go, for my walks and stuff, so people don't see me, but I'm very, very casual in that way. But when it comes to events, then it's always my own brand, of course. And if I'm bored of something, I don't, like, what I do is, even through my closet, I recycle stuff. So I take things out and I give it a new spin, I give it a fresh life. And this is how we keep it sustainable. It's otherwise, if it's constant buy is also not good, right? Like, it just adds to the pollution, unfortunately. So this is what I do. Is, for me, it's more the mood, I would say. If you do see, for you, if you have a trend that you like, absolutely, go for it. But trends don't last, So even when it comes to the trend, I advise you to, even within that trend, go for something. Unless it's your personality, then go for it, go for it and shine. If you want to be loud, if that's your personality, absolutely do you, be you 100%.
Yeah. Sometimes you may wear something that is trendy in design, but doesn't make you feel comfortable. So that is something that we should not wear. We should always feel comfy with what we're wearing.
Exactly. So for us, comfort and practicality, as much as I love the creativity, it still has to be comfortable.
How does it make you feel when you see people wearing your brand, or when you see the brand of so many women that you have helped to create their own designer? And do you actually recognize from, like, maybe you are sitting in a restaurant or...
Yeah. Of course I do. It makes me very proud, really. But it's funny that as a woman, I'm saying this, my husband too, when he sees some aesthetic that is very much like, I was like, isn't that a Rabia Z? That looks like a Rabia Z.
He's proud of you.
Well.
He's proud, of course. He's lucky to have a beautiful and successful woman and wife like yourself.
I'm lucky myself. Thank you. I'm blessed, alhamdulillah.
We are I know that the time is going so quick and there is so many things I want to ask you. Ya Allah, But I really want to know, what would be an advice that you would like to give? I know that you mentioned some of the challenges and also some of the successful stories that you had through your journey as when you open your own line brand, and also as a mentor and as a leader. What are some of advice shortly that you would give to everyone who wants to follow your footsteps or is passionate about fashion? But also, I really want us to give an advice as well for lots of girls that they are afraid to wear the hijab because they think that they will lose their style. They will not find maybe decent clothes to also be themselves, because what we wear is what we are. So it's very important. If we can like that, touch on this as well, would be great.
Yes, absolutely. Sure. I mean, look at you, mashallah, how beautiful you are and how beautifully you've styled your hijab. It looks stunning. And I love there's the wind and it's like so whimsical and beautiful. Wallah,
Because it's
mashallah,
hot, it's hot.
tabarakallah. No, it's working
The AC.
perfectly.
I'm doing it on purpose. Yeah, it's just like, you know, when they use the fan for the hair on
Yes,
this
that's what
clip.
I'm saying.
So
It's
I'm
like
using it.
mashallah, tabarakallah, it's like a vision, you see? But see, and you're saying you're hot, and so you did that. Sometimes, you know, through your own needs, through your own challenges, through your own struggles, you can come up with solutions. If you think of solutions, you can come up with solutions. And so um, I say there's so many brands out there. First of all, there's a lot of products out there. So if you're going to do something today, you know, there's still room. There's so much room for, especially in the modest fashion industry, there's a lot of room. We do need more brands. I always say we need more. Definitely we need more. But what do we need? We need things, we need brands, like I said, with purpose. We want good brands, good quality. We don't want to compete with the all the cheap stuff that's going on right now. And I don't want to, I'm not ashamed to name it. I've never shopped on it, and it's not my favorite thing at all. And like one of the brands is the big one's called Shein, as everybody knows. You know, so don't, the thing is, even if you think you come in the space to think that you're going to compete, you can't compete with unfortunate big giants like them who are like full of, they're copycats, they're copying trends, they're copying other people, and they're just, you know, forget it. That's a whole other topic of discussion. I don't even want to go there. So, but what I'm saying is, when I see a lot of young women or young labels come in and they think they can compete with that, or they want to be another Zara, they want to, and I say, why do you want to be another of that? Why don't you be another version of yourself? What is it that, you know, you're good at? Where are your strengths? So spend time, know what your strengths are. And if you don't have strengths in certain areas, it's okay. That's how you leverage, and you should go. In fact, be very, very, I say, be honest with yourself. If you can be honest and acknowledge that, okay, I have strengths here, but I have weaknesses here. I'm not a designer, so I cannot create this. Or I am a designer, but I'm very bad at production. Or, you know, I have a creative mind, but I'm actually terrible at marketing things, you know. If you spend a bit of time and put things down, I always tell everyone, think on paper. Don't think in your head. Think on paper. Put things down on paper. See what your strengths are, and focus on your strength. Where your weaknesses, leverage it. Go find people that can help you, you know, but do it right. I say do it right, do it professionally. It's okay to start small, and it's okay, you will, you know, rise and fall. It's all part of the journey, you know. And maybe today what your aesthetic is, as a designer, my aesthetics completely changed today from what it used to be in my early career. I don't create the same things, even though the signature is there, but it's evolved. It's evolved, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. I apologize if I'm going in circles, because, you know, the coffee, not having coffee right now.
No, absolutely. No, you are not going on circles.
I'm like, did I answer you or not? I'm like going in circles sometimes. But yeah, see, I lost my train of thought. Did I answer you
It's
or
good
not?
to go basically step by step and small, like everyone who starts. This is not only in fashion, I would say, in all industry. Even when you start a job and you work for someone else, you need some time to, like, everything comes slowly, slowly. So we need to be passionate about it and like have sabr, be patient, and
Absolutely. And
keep going, right? Not stop
yes,
because you fell.
but non-stop in the sense I say, don't be afraid to reroute.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid that, because I'm on this path and oh, I'm popular on social media for doing this one thing, I have to stick to it. No, it's not necessarily. If you feel like you have evolved, you've grown out of it, it's okay. It's perfectly fine to move on to, something that maybe you're more passionate about, because as we grow, we change
Yeah.
as humans as well, right?
Mhm.
But today, creating a fashion label is certainly much easier than from my time. Much
Yeah,
easier. Much
yeah,
easier. But
definitely.
doing it professionally and having a brand signature and DNA and not copying whatever trends are out there.
Yeah.
That's the challenge
What
for
is next for Rabia? Any secret that you want to share with us, or anything beautiful that you are planning?
Alhamdulillah, I've actually been extremely busy with my consulting and my consultancy, and I'm enjoying it very much. I'm enjoying it very much. So, but the brand itself, because we've continued our hijab line and we do have custom orders and things. So it's a long story. Like I said, people don't know with the investment and then the investments falling apart, and then the journey of bringing it back up and like new teams, new area, this is a lot. It's a lot. But alhamdulillah, there's some great things coming up, inshallah. I can't disclose everything right now, but hopefully, we can sit together when it happens, inshallah. But very
Absolutely.
happy. Yeah.
And I'm sure Kaisra would be happy if you will have a new project or anything to showcase on MACFEST 2027. I know that fashion is always changing, so we really need to have fashion seasons every year, Kaisra, and we would be very, very happy to bring you again, inshallah, in another different project in the future. Where can we find Rabia Z? And is it only online? Are there shops? Is it only in Dubai, Emirates, or is it global? Just for anyone who wants to basically come and see your designs and wear them, buy them.
Yes, unfortunately, they will not be able to find the clothes anymore now that we've finished our licenses off with some of the companies we were working with. But our hijabs are now, because it's another licensed product that we do, our jersey hijabs are available on Amazon in the US and Amazon.com and the Prime, Amazon Prime in the US and Europe. And Trendyol in Turkey. And so there's a few, once I get the updated list, I will share it with you, because this is very new right now. And in terms of our collections, we just mostly do custom orders until, inshallah, we relaunch the ready to wear. But for the custom orders, it's again online. We were always an online brand from day one until now, so there's no stores but inshallah, and with the multi brands that we're talking to, hopefully.
We live in digital world, everything is
Exactly.
online. We are all
Exactly.
gathered from all around the world today as
Right?
well digitally, so
Yeah.
that's
That's
the
how I
best.
shop personally too. I
Yeah,
love to, I shop online on multi-brand stores. I have a few favorites and I mix and match things from my own to others, and then that's how, as Khaisra was asking me how you do it, that's how I do. I mix and match things, and it's really
that's
about
amazing.
the feeling and the mood I'm in.
That's amazing. Rabia, it was absolutely a pleasure talking to you today. Really, I have so many other questions in my mind, and I'm sure.
Feel free to reach out, and you can
Yeah,
share an email. And our mentorship program is an active program. That's the thing that I'm very passionately pursuing. So if there's anyone, we are taking cohorts for this summer, and I just take a select few students. It's not free, of course, it's a paid one, but at the same time, there is a scholarship for some as well. So that's keeping me super busy.
how can people join Rabia on these mentorship programs?
They can just send us a message on either our Instagram, Modest Fashion Academy, or directly on I am Rabia Z, which is our handles on Instagram, on X, on LinkedIn. It's the same handle, I am, RABIAZ, just Z. Feel free to send us a DM and we'll definitely be more than happy to help.
That's amazing. Everyone, please, it's also on the screen, all the details. Whoever wants to join her mentorship programs, I'm sure that there is so much to learn from Rabia, and it may be beneficial, and then someone from the team will reach out to you and also share the packages that they have, inshallah. Rabia, I'm so happy that I spoke with someone who brought in our life jersey hijabs. Literally, I have been suffering with the silk ones, and because Albania and Turkey are so close to each other, I kept struggling with the material. So I'm so happy that I really spoke with you today, and I'm so I really appreciate what you have done, and all of the investment that you've brought on, not only in the fashion brands, but also in the Muslim communities, because as you said, we really want need Muslim girls and women to bring new fashion, new designs, new collaborations in the market. There are so many good comments. Rabia, we enjoyed a lot listening to your experience. Someone is asking, what is one challenge that you have faced with fashion industry rules or regulations while trying to keep your brand sustainable and ethical? Maybe we can answer that shortly. And then, yeah, we can go for that first, Rabia, and then I'll go through all other comments.
Sorry, where's the question, Tale?
So she's asking, what is one challenge that you have faced with fashion industry rules or regulations while trying to keep your brand sustainable and ethical? One challenge, maybe something that was very hard to deal with.
I think when it comes to sustainable fashion, like I said, the biggest thing is pricing. Well, for us, it was only during the collaboration with the fast fashion company because of their pricing. So, but majority of the time, from what I hear and from what we experienced early on, yes, it was availability of fabrics, minimum quantities, not being able to meet the minimum quantities. Because, you know, when it comes to production and sustainable fabrics, they want you to buy them in bulk and whatnot. But like I said, honestly, now everything is possible. Everything is possible. If you want to pursue a sustainable brand, it is absolutely possible. You don't have to, see, we're not the H&Ms and Zara's and not the Dior's, and, you know, we are who we are in our own level of where we are. So we have to work within our means, and if you have the right sort of, you know, funding is important. I'm not gonna lie, it's very important to have a good, you know, financial backing when you're starting a brand. A lot of brands over time fail because the financial backing is not there. So that's that. But in terms of sustainability, absolutely everything is possible. They are doing minimum quantities now. They are able to give you the you know, a good variety of fabrics. So don't go like the big giant retailers and create a huge line. No, keep it small, keep it, you know, core items, just keep it a few core items. And sometimes it just literally takes one item to you know, make it big or to be known, and, you know. So
step by step, right? As we said, step by step, it's the best way how we can like start, right? And it's better when it comes to from Muslims to Muslim. Not obviously, there is nothing wrong to buy from other brands as well, but it's better to support our Muslim brothers and sisters who are in the market trying to build something for us as Muslim community, right?
absolutely.
There is another question, Rabia. In fact, there are so many other questions. So someone is asking, sorry if I don't spell your name correctly, is Jacqueline Tang. Hello, Rabia. May I know how can we find our style, and what is the message that you would like to share with women through your designs?
Well, Our designs, it's, I know that this word is now being overused and overrated, but honest to God, this is how I started 25 years ago. It was to empower. It was to give them the confidence that, you know, sometimes having to cover yourself this much, again, my journey is much older, so today it's a different conversation, but for us, for our women, it was about that. It was about feeling confident, being empowered with the way you dress, not feeling that fashion, you know, for coming from mainstream, or me having to, like, our brand was, we were showing in a lot of mainstream fashion weeks and events. You know, there's so many people that came and told me that, you know, fashion is about showing skin. It's not about covering your skin. So, you know, I've had to face so many challenges like that from mainstream, but also from Muslims as well, who also would comment and say that this is too attractive and you shouldn't be, you know, making women. So there's you know, there's both of that. There's always a challenge. As long as you know yourself and you know why you're doing what you're doing, and you do it in the best way possible to give a, you know, good product with good value. I always tell my clients and mentees, you know, make sure that your product has an added value to it, that people would not only touch and feel and say, wow, this is great, but even the price is great, everything is great. Strive to do that. Strive to do that, and it's possible, inshallah. I hope I answered your question. I'm sorry.
Amazing. Someone is
Fasting.
commenting. She says, Morak, if she, maybe it's he, I don't know. Rabia should have been interviewed by Meghan Markle. She has so much useful information about starting a business. Would be great. And this is what we were saying. We need we really need some podcast series with Rabia to share all the journey and how things are
Or
started.
Megan, you can come and talk to me. It's all good. We can have a conversation.
Definitely, definitely. Rabia,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much again. And please continue doing the beautiful work that you have been in the market. Please continue doing the mentorship programs. We really need more Rabias in the market and more people that are passionate and they know how to bring something new in the market, that it's also pleasing Allah, but it's also professional. It's also beautiful in the eyes of lots of people that they don't understand maybe how Islam works, how modest fashion works. And I know that Islam was the source of the knowledge. So why not? Even the biggest designers, they can learn from Muslim designers, from people who have the passion and also the love for the sake of Allah. And I would like to thank everyone who joined us today. Thank you so much. I know that Katazinia maybe may mention this, that you can find all of the recordings on our YouTube channel and also on our social media for anyone who wants to share it or who wants to listen it from the beginning. They didn't have a chance to join us from the beginning, etc. So they can learn more. And also all the details are mentioned in the slides when Rabia was also sharing that, how can you find her and how can you reach out to her for the mentorship programs. Thank you so much again, all of you. A very quick advice that I would love to give to my girls, as I always do. Never be afraid of what you want to do. Take the risk as long as you are passionate about it. Everything is in the hands of Allah. So all what you need to do is to believe in yourself. There is nothing impossible. If you have the passion, just go for it. Just do it and don't give up. Life is full of challenges, but this is why we are Muslims and this is how God teached us. So nothing should stop you. If you want to put the hijab, trust me, you'll feel more beautiful. You will feel more protected, and God will guide you to find your way, to find your style, to find beauty on what you are wearing. And trust me, you will look even more beautiful if you do it always with a passion. Passion needs to be always there. I will hand over to you, Katazinia. Thank you again, Rabia. Jazakallah khair. And I wish you all a good evening and or maybe a good morning from all around the world, because I know that we had so many people joining from USA, Dubai, France, Singapore. I have a flight to catch up. So
Oh,
I
yes,
will leave you
enjoy,
all, and
enjoy
thank you
your
so
trip.
much. And we will stay in touch,
Fun.
Rabia,
Yes,
inshallah, for future
absolutely. Stay in
projects.
touch. Yes. Thank you so much. A quick thank you to everyone that joined. Thank you, Kaisra, for inviting me. Thank you so much for hosting, Lulu. You were amazing. Tom, I'm sorry I did not get your name because it's not mentioned there.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, Tom and one more.
Katazinia is the one as well that
Yes,
will
yes.
finish all the.
Thank you so much for everything. It was really amazing. It was so nice to meet you all. Inshallah, keep in touch.
Thank you so much, Rabia. It was an absolute honor. You're an inspiration. And just as somebody mentioned in their comments, yep, you do know what you're talking about. We need people like you. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Lulu, thank you for wonderful hosting today. Thank you that you were able to join us. You were just perfect for this event. So before we finish today, I would just like to mention that we've got one more, the last online event celebrating the historic art of Palestinian embroidery tomorrow at 2 o'clock UK time. You can still register for free tickets on MACFEST Eventbrite. After that, you can join MACFEST on heritage tours. We've got a Cambridge Mosque tour on Sunday, 27th of July. Tickets on Eventbrite, of course, and you can also venture to Albania with MACFEST. That is in October. More details on Eventbrite again. So I would like to thank everybody absolutely for joining us on various events. I would like to thank everybody who was taking active part on various events in the chat, asking questions, sharing your thoughts. We're really grateful for that. If you would like to send some kind of testimonial or anything to us, you can do that via MACFEST email, hello@macfest.org.uk. The email is on the website. You can always find it, or you can do that through our social media. We will be putting new events for MACFEST 2026 on Eventbrite very soon. That will be sometime in October or November. In the meantime, we've got MACFEST Arts Awards process going. We're going through the stage 1 judging process. There will be an exhibition at the University of Salford. So those of you who can join, please do. The opening will be on the 20th of November, preview in the evening. And after that, the exhibition continues until December. So that will be an opportunity to see the best Muslim UK Muslim artworks in 4 categories: drawing, painting, calligraphy, and photography, displayed at the University of Salford from the 20th of November. So thank you again, and hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow and then on 2026 events. Thank you.
Thank you, Katarzyna, for another amazing panel we've had. Thank you, Rabia. What a wonderful event to end our year. And of course, there's one more wonderful one coming up. And of course, our amazing, lovely Lulu for taking us through, again, another amazing panel. Finally, as I've written in the chat, thank you, especially to all our attendees from around the world who have graced our festival with your attendance. I'm really, really, truly grateful, everyone. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend and join us tomorrow if you're free. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.